Have you seen the cost of cabinets lately? I've heard that question a lot of times, but most recently from my son who just bought his first home, a little fixer-upper, and a kitchen remodel was on the must-do list, knowing when they went in and bought the house that the kitchen had to be redone. So we started thinking, hey, shop time, right? We get to build a set of kitchen cabinets. Time and materials started to factor into it, and yes, materials aren't cheap. Plus you got to figure your time into it. So maybe it is better to go ahead and purchase some cabinetry. It's a debate. I know you don't have to figure in your labor, but your time is valuable, and depending on all your other things going on in life. So we started watching Marketplace. My son and his fiance came out pretty good because they found these cabinets from a homeowner who was remodeling, took them down carefully so they're in decent shape, and they plan on painting the cabinets, so the color doesn't matter. And they included the fridge. So I think they came out pretty good. So the problem is, when you buy someone else's kitchen, it's not going to be a perfect fit for yours. So we played with the mix and match puzzle piece with our CAD program and realized we got the perfect layout. We're just two 21-inch cabinets short of the upper. Well, let's build those in the shop. That's not a problem. These are what's called production style cabinets. They are mass produced in certain sizes, usually increments of 3 inches. They're 1/2-inch plywood rather than 3/4, so they don't have as much interior strength, but when they're small cabinets, it totally fits the bill. Most of America that has standard kitchen cabinets has 1/2-inch material. The production style here has a particle board interior. We went ahead and went with veneer core actual lumber grade plywood. That's another upgrade we did. We would love to do the whole kitchen that way, but again, can't beat the price that we got on those. The other part of the video, or part 2 of the video, will be how we made this frame and panel door, because that's a vital part of construction, furniture making, woodworking in general. So we're going to put that on part 2 of this video. So if you're interested in learning how to build a door, go check out that video on our series. But we're going to focus on the production style cabinets. Again, 1/2-inch, pre-built the face frame, 1/2-inch material, cut a couple grooves down the side, and it all fits together like a puzzle. Very fast, very efficient for the production. Not very custom, but it works in this situation. So let's move these out of the way and get started on our project. All right, we start things out by rough cutting the material, getting it milled to size with the planer, the joiner, and the table saw. Then we're going to square up the ends of all our pieces, and if you notice, we're using a stop block. Make sure they're all cut to the same length. We're using pocket hole joinery for the face frame. And then finally we cut a 1/2-inch groove into all the face frame pieces to receive the plywood panels a little bit later on during the build. Now that we're using our pocket screws to put it together, you notice we're using a square there to make sure our face frame assembly stays square, and all of the grooves are towards the inside. That'll come into play a little bit later. After finishing up with the pocket holes, we're going to give everything a little bit of all the face frames a quick sanding. Make sure all the seams are flush and good. Quickly measure for our plywood panels. These are the shelves and the side pieces. Give them a little bit of sanding. Makes everything easier before assembly. And then we'll head back to our dado stack and cut our 1/2-inch grooves for all of the horizontal shelf pieces. We changed it out to 3/4, cutting a back rabbet. And even though we're using 1/4-inch plywood, we're cutting a 3/4 back rabbet, so we have additional thickness for mounting material. We'll show you that a little bit later in the video. And when it comes to assembly, we use glue on everything. I think a lot of production cabinets, especially the more economical ones, are not glued. If you notice, we had to notch the corners where the face frames intersected. That little bit extra, though, makes it a lot easier. Now, if you notice, we're also drawing lines where to staple.
Trust me, it's a lot easier to sand off a pencil line than it is to deal with a missed nail, especially since we're painting these cabinets. We're using staples to assemble, where a lot of times I'll use brad nails, but since this cabinet is going to get an end panel or be butted up against another cabinet, doesn't matter if we use staples and they're a little bit stronger. Don't forget to check for square and then measure for your back panel. There's that 1/4 inch back panel we were talking about. If you can see, it still leaves a little bit of a 1/2 inch lip. We're going to use the plywood panel as a big old square. So if you notice, we're starting with each corner. And then once we get it squared up, we go to town with the stapler. We're making sure this back isn't coming off. Once again, we're going to mark where that shelf is. Don't want to deal with missed staples. After we get that attached, we're going to add our 1/2 inch hanger bracket or hanger board. Again, we're using glue. One more upgrade. Makes home building your cabinets a little bit better than what you can buy in the store. Staple them to the outside of the cabinet, and then also we'll put staples into that, or nails into the shelf. We needed nails because this one's a little bit longer. I had to go through 1.5 inches or 3/4 material. Wanted to make sure there's plenty of holding power.
When you're sanding kitchen cabinets that are going to be, or cabinets that are going to be butted together, you're real careful about sanding these edges that you don't ruin the square profile. So when the two come together, you still have you end up with a tight seam like you expect. All right, most kitchen cabinets, you want some sort of divider system so you can put lots of items, right? Shelving, duh, the answer. Well, there's a couple different options. One, we've kind of surpassed that opportunity without adding some brackets or something, but permanent shelving. That's not always suggested because you never know how your needs might change over time. So the more common is adjustable shelving. There's all kinds of commercial systems out there, the metal track you can put in. But the most common is the simple pegs and holes. There's also commercial jigs for that, stuff you can buy to help you drill them, but we're going to refer to a good old Warrior Wood Shop know-how and use some pegboard. They're 1/4 inch holes. Some of the newer systems are 5 millimeters, so you need to check, but we're using 1/4 inch pegs, 1/4 inch holes. So what we've done is made this sheet of pegboard fit the inside of the panel, since this is a common bookshelf size we build in class, and we use a 1/4 inch drill bit, but we need to control the depth. So what we've done is put a collar on our 1/4 inch bit, because tape would work. Remember that from our safety units, tape would work, but we need something repeatable and reliable for several holes, probably even 100 holes. So we don't want to rely on masking tape for that. I like to mark both sides out so that way it can slide straight across. You definitely want to keep the bottom aligned, but going straight across keeps the front to back distance the same. So we'll get that one finished up. And we have a 2-part hinge, so you just follow the manufacturer's instructions.
Take a minute and check out our video on how to build frame and panel doors. And if you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you get updates when we do future videos. Really appreciate it.
They sent us the wrong style. Supposed to have a 1/2 inch overlap, but it should be just a different set of brackets, and we'll go from there. But, however, even though we got the wrong hinges, that does show you how a cabinet's going together. Somehow we got a flush. I'm not sure exactly where the slip up will happen, but numbers are easily transposed in ordering. But that shows you how a cabinet goes together. The only thing that's left to do is install the handle, which we'll do that when we get to the house that this is going into. A lot of times I recommend a little bumper, but that can be put on after it's painted. So hopefully you got something out of how to build a kitchen cabinet and a little separate video on how to build a frame and panel door. So thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button. This is the Warrior Woodshop. My name is Mr. Rodaway, and we are a high school woodworking program, but I love to help the general public out there on YouTube also. We're going to try to do another video where we build a high-end cabinet using 3/4 material. This one was trying to reproduce a factory-built economical cabinet. So again, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit that bell so you know when we build or do those other project videos. If you haven't done so, check out our other project videos. We appreciate you watching. All I have to say is, go out and make some sawdust.